Let's get started. All right, guys. Hey, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, welcome. My name is Nyssa. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called Possibl.AI. We started this journey a couple of years ago. I'm a innovation freak. I've kind of ridden all of the different tech waves from when I was a tiny little human working at Spark 20 years ago. Through mobile applications, infrastructure, cloud, into Google and the AI world, and then sort of met with a few people and went, everyone's getting pretty confused about this world of AI, and this was sort of just as ChatGPT was becoming a little bit well known, and I was in the Google world and had been playing with it for a little while. And we decided to create a consultancy or agency to help demystify AI and become very, very outcome centric. We noticed a lot of vendors were trying to sell their wares. Everyone was getting confused. Everyone was saying the same thing or different things. And I really thought there was a gap for customer advocacy where it comes to adopting AI. So you won't get any product push from me. I'm not aligned to an AWS or Microsoft, a particular type of cloud or instance. I'm completely obsessed with finding the right outcome for the right customer. The type of advice we give to customers is incredibly different from a 5-man band to a 500. I met with a legal company from New Zealand yesterday, and they have 500 employees. So my advice is going to be completely different, particularly when we start looking at build versus buy. So the conversations today is going to be around consulting in the AI era. And of course, we're all incredible boutique consulting companies here. And you all have your amazing skills that you offer to your markets. So what I thought I'd jump in and start with, hopefully most of you have used Google before, but I wanted to just ask very, very quickly, make it a bit interactive, but what are your challenges with AI at the moment? So how are you feeling, and what challenges or opportunities do you see? So if you'd like to just chuck that into the chat message, I'd really love to see a couple pop up before I move on. So I'm gonna force you to write something. Or maybe talk to your AI, quickly jump on ChatGPT and say, this crazy woman's asking me to write what challenges I have with AI, what questions what can I put? Hey, start getting them come through. Actually, I can't see that. Why can't I see the messages? Right. There we go. Accuracy of LLMs. That has been a debacle, particularly after ChatGPT 5's launch, I've found. But yeah, absolutely agree. Any others popping up? Welcome to my world, Dan. Keeping up with the changes. Because we don't align to any one particular type of AI, it is an absolute full-time job trying to keep up with those changes. Ethics, absolutely. Yeah. Data, yeah, that's a big one. Cool. And the overwhelm, I feel that as well. And again, I live and breathe it. So thank you guys for chucking that in. That's, more. Yes. Trying to follow all the different chat streams. So much noise. I think that's going to start to get better very shortly. And memory and context is actually something that my company's working on our IP side of the business. So that's amazing. That gives me a bit of insight into what you guys are thinking about. And some of those items I will be addressing. And using AI is sometimes the best way to keep up with AI as well, provided you prompt it right. So I'll jump into the presentation. So look, most of you probably already acknowledge this and understand this. Now, one of my favorite things to do in AI at the moment, probably since last week, is actually using Google Gemini's Nano Banana to come up with some of these images. So you'll see some funny, well, actually not too many, but a couple of images there. And this kind of will play to the fact that the world is changing constantly. And keeping abreast of what is happening in AI is definitely one of the biggest challenges. I think the biggest item here is that you've got to be prepared to not have an opinion and be very okay with things changing or your answers being inaccurate the day after you give them. So personally, I don't like to have a firm opinion on AI most of the time because I know a lot of the challenges are being worked on by the larger organizations. But look, what's changed in consulting? So I guess the big one here is that most of your clients are now expecting AI to be leveraged in some way, shape or form. They're expecting you to know at the drop of a hat their business. They're expecting you to turn around things within 2 days, not within 2 weeks like it used to be. So there's a lot more pressure. We're definitely in an era of, how would I put it? That instant gratification of AI, and also a lot of opinions being reinforced by AI, which can be a massive problem and challenge for those in consulting. Because if you say, I've got this great idea, the AI will often tell you it's a great idea because you've told it effectively to tell you it's a great idea. And as consultants, we're there to challenge the status quo, and we're there to confirm facts and opinions with data as well. So I think some of the areas where it comes into play with consulting in particular is that the tools now are relatively niche, and they're going to become finer and niche over the next few years. Your tools will understand your domain, your context, your memory, and effectively we're getting to a point, and I'll show you this later on, where you can actually create your entire consultancy brain, which your individual AIs could potentially leverage in the near future. Claude's getting pretty close to it at the moment. I think Gemini's a little bit further away. ChatGPT's catching up. But it requires a lot more prompting. So the tools are all changing relatively quickly, but it does mean that if you're using one at the moment, generally speaking, you can get it to do the majority of what you need it to do. The build versus buy equation's flipped, which is a really, really interesting one. 6 months ago, I would have told a number of you to go and buy tools off the shelf, buy custom SaaS applications buy standard SaaS applications that suit your business process. Now I will be more inclined, particularly if you're an agency or a consultancy over 5 people, I'd be more inclined to tell you to go and build it yourself. And I'll talk to you a little bit further down the line about why. But effectively, it means that your knowledge, your IP, your data is your moat. And if you leverage that it can become a massive, significant difference against some of your competitors. And you don't need to become a tech expert to build AI solutions either. There are a number of tools that are now out there that will allow you as the context user or you as the business user to actually create your own tools. Now, I'm going to pause there. Does anyone want to jump in and give any of their thoughts around what they've seen as a change in consulting? Now, you can either take yourself off mute or write it in the chat box. Or am I spot on? We can do a few waves. No? Everyone's here to listen to me, not to talk themselves. That's fine.
I think I've got one thing to say, Nyssa, which is that I do wonder if sometimes as a group of consultants, some of us are in a bubble, understanding what AI can do, but we get so involved in that bubble that we don't actually see the 75% of people out there who are much further behind, and therefore they're not thinking about AI all the time. So I think there is a long tail to come.
Yeah, particularly in New Zealand, there's definitely an echo chamber with those of us that are interested in AI, and probably if you're here, you see the value in it. You've probably got a license or two. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I met with a large legal firm yesterday, and they still haven't rolled out Copilot. And to me, that's incredible. 1 hour of time in a month is your payback. 1 hour. And I tell you what, you'll get a lot more than that leveraging almost the most simple AI tool. So look, what are we going to cover within the session today? A build versus buy framework that actually works for your type of organization, and you're all going to be different. Quick wins that you can implement this week. How to use AI to prioritize AI. Oh, isn't that ironic? I'll give you an example of scaling consulting globally, and I think this is a really cool example. And we'll go into a little bit of a roadmap as to how you can achieve that. So let's talk about build and buy for non-tech consulting. And I'll go through this really kind of quickly. Ultimately, you buy when you need general productivity tools, the Google Workspaces, the Microsoft Suites. Those are relatively difficult to build yourself. Your process is possibly an industry standard, so you're an insurance broker, therefore you will probably buy an off-the-shelf tool, or if you're under 10 people, generally speaking, you'll buy niche applications. But build if you have proprietary frameworks, you have a special source, you have special data, you have highly specialized expertise that you think you could scale and you think you could take your knowledge and expertise further. Or if you want to productize your knowledge, those are the areas where I would recommend building a solution. And building doesn't necessarily mean a 6-month project. It can mean a 4-week custom GPT, okay? It can mean a coach agent, which is one that we're building for a customer right now. And I'll give you some of those examples. So I want to talk quickly about my baby. This is one of my favorite customers that I've been working on with for the last 12 months. Now, they are a relatively large consulting company. This isn't coming up, but I will show you a quick video. They came to us with an idea in a research paper. They had around 10 permanent employees and 40 contractor consultants that were littered around the globe. Very, very high people business where they went into law enforcement, the United Nations and other agencies, and they gave their expertise in ethical law enforcement procedures. It was a high resource cost. And what they came to us with, the question of is how can we scale this? How can we make it so we aren't 50 people, we are 500 people? And how can we democratize ethical law enforcement processes? So throughout the last 12 months, only the last 6 months of building it, we've actually launched the world's first law enforcement avatar scenario trainer, which will assist police officers and others that do highly sensitive work to practice their interview techniques and provide reports back on some very, very amazing IP that the team have built. We built a custom large language model with very firm guardrails. We built a custom avatar and we built an application wrapped around it. It has been a considerable investment for them, but they're now looking at a market, total addressable market globally of, we believe, over $4 billion. I think this will be New Zealand's next unicorn. So I'll show you a quick video, and keep in mind, this is a mum and dad from Christchurch that started this with a kind of a circa $5 million consulting business. And hopefully it's going to play. Is it going to play? Come on, you can play. Oh, man. We didn't check this, did we, guys? Maybe not. I hear, going to play? Here we go.
EcoMind is an AI-powered training tool that provides repeatable training and delivers feedback-driven performance enhancement. Using avatars, EcoMind effectively simulates realistic investigative interviewing scenarios. EcoMind allows users the time to practice and develop the rapport building and open-ended questioning skills that are essential for effective interviewing. And they can practice those skills wherever and whenever they choose. So my name's Sean Buckley. I'm one of the founders and directors at Osako Group. We're established in 2013 and we provide investigative support and training to organisations all around the globe. So we're working with a world-class avatar developer to create lifelike, realistic avatars that will respond to questions and rapport building techniques, and will provide the interview trainee with a very quick understanding as to whether or not they're engaged with the avatar. We've got a feedback loop which provides real-time and post-interview feedback to the interview trainee. We believe that.
Now I'm going to stop it there. You guys can watch the video. It is a longer video, but this is going to give you a bit of an example of a company that had niche IP and knowledge, and it's pretty. Some of the concepts that we've used to train the LLM are broader. They are very normal concepts that law enforcement use in their training practices. But what we've been able to do is put it in a package that is very, very valuable across the globe in terms of law enforcement training. So have a think about what you guys do and what you can potentially build to scale. I'll give another example. We're building a coaching tool where a consultant or a athlete or a leadership coach can put in their brain, their corpus of information. In AI, we call it a RAG, but effectively it's their internal data set, their internal, what is best practice, what do I believe in, and what tone of voice do I deliver it in? And we're delivering that through a avatar and or voice coach, which people can pay for. So you might want to pay $10 a month to be talking to the Dalai Lama, for example. But it could be you're going to pay $10 a month to be able to talk to Dan Minkin's book. It could be as simple as that. We're working on building out a platform for people to be able to scale that and do that themselves without having any technology experience. But it's an example that you could actually go on 11 Labs and do yourself relatively easily without any technology knowledge. Okay.
It'll bring training.
So I want to talk a little bit about the real cost of AI and why some people think it's a lot cheaper to buy multiple tools rather than building it yourself. So generally speaking, generic tools, a lot of you are probably signed up to one or two different AI tools, potentially within your collaboration suite like Google Workspace and or Microsoft Copilot. But you may have others. I know for me, we probably spend around $500 to $1,000 per user on different AI tools, whilst we are building up some of our internal capability. A lot of that is because we like to try things, and we have some relatively sophisticated coding tools and others. But it is really, really interesting when you get across some sort of standard typical business users and the tools that they do have. But to be able to get across the majority of things that you do in a day, generally speaking, it sits between $50 to $200 per user per month. And that will get you to about 60% of your needs, particularly if you don't know how to prompt some of these tools in the most effective way. There's a lot of manual customization, there's a lot of cut, copy, paste, and your IP isn't necessarily yours because you may be putting a whole lot of documents into Claude, for example, or custom GPTs, and you're not able to actually cost that out in a very effective manner. Whereas building a custom AI solution or an application used to be around 15 to 30K. Sometimes you can build them for a lot cheaper than that, depending on what you're hoping to achieve. But it means that it's aligned, it's yours, and it's something that is your moat. It's something that you can sell and scale. So generally speaking, building a custom solution that is completely yours has an ROI of, I would say 3 months is probably more realistic at the moment. It's going to get cheaper. And I'll talk about what using vibe coding tools will do to be able to fill that gap in a second. The integration costs, this is, I really love this. So I mentioned earlier, Nano Banana was released last week, I think it was, or maybe the week before. And I literally just copied this slide into Google Gemini and said, can you create an image for the slide? And the ability to adapt an image now with text over and above is almost near perfect. You can also swap out faces and do really silly things with it. But in a business use case, this is pretty phenomenal because I'm sure most of you have probably done slides every now and then. And it's a pain in the butt to do. So look, what is visible though is the subscription cost, the $10 a month. But what's hidden is the lack of integration between the tools to effectively take your DocuSign across to your collaboration suite, across to your maybe prompting within AI to get some of the content. So those are the challenges. There's also security risks when you're transferring information across the different systems, and there's knowledge silos, which means that I can't necessarily ask a question of all of the information that sits within my world if it's in 5 different tools. And that minimizes your ability to understand and know a customer or the proposal or the consulting engagement that you've effectively, that you're working across. So the solution is building your own type of a tool that has connections via APIs or MCP servers or workflows that will create an orchestration layer across those different tools and be able to provide a unified view of your data. Now, this will depend on where you're at in terms of your maturity for your business. Wow, the time's going really fast. So who here has built a custom GPT? Hands up. I see some hands going up. Yeah, we've got some virtual hands. Cool. So there's a few of you that have likely built custom GPTs. Again, if you're interested in AI, you're probably here and you've probably toyed. It's relatively easy to do what can save a crap load of time in AI. So for me, for example, I have my statement of works. I download into Claude and now actually into an automation workflow. But the notes from a customer engagement that I've just sat down and got a whole lot of information out of, I have a whole lot of the methodologies put into that, and it will spit out exactly the format that I wanted to be able to do. So if that's a statement of work, or if that's a proposal, or if that's a methodology, or if it's a solution architecture, I'm automating a significant amount of that process based on me spending the time and talking to my users, talking to my customers, interviewing, whatever the people element is, transcribing those notes, chucking it into my tool or my workflow, and then allowing that workflow to build out the output that I need. So claim templates, risk frameworks, you guys can see sort of the examples that we have for different industries there that I've put into, for example. Voice agents is a really, really interesting use case. I'm not sure how many of you have played with these yet, but an example that we were playing around with the Osico consulting company is Coach Sean, so the guy that you saw on the screen just before. He has around 30 years of policing and law enforcement knowledge. We took all of his papers, research papers, his methodologies, we put them all into a RAG system and put it on 11 Labs. And you can actually, as a police officer, talk to Coach Sean about how he would handle a really tough interview about rape, for example, which is actually a real life situation that we have to deal with this particular type of customer. And if you can think about a police officer being in a particular type of scenario, it has proved invaluable to them. But you could also be somebody that's giving advice on legal matters, someone who's giving advice on business strategy would be a really, really good one. Dan, I could totally see your book being chucked into this as a RAG. And, you know, I'm sitting here going, oh, I don't know how to manage my cash flow. This was a question, a conversation we were having before everyone joined. Banks and cash flow are a whole lot of fun. You know, Dan's got a whole lot of amazing advice within his book and probably even further information in other sources. But being able to leverage that and being able to help your customers access that information without having to go through you, and then monetizing that as well. There's also a lot of other use cases within voice agents. So being able to take calls, qualify, question users in a natural manner. This technology is moving very, very quickly, where you can actually have a Kiwi sounding voice. It can even be your voice. You can clone your own voice relatively easily to be able to handle this. And 10 minutes of talking to my voice costs about 3 cents. 3 cents. How much value could you give to one of your customers offering that? Your agentic army. I'm pretty sure almost everyone has heard about the new modern workflow automation tools like N8N, Make, Crew.AI, and others. You can now actually input your workflow into the AI tools and actually get it to sort of record. Actually, the best way of doing this is sitting here on a Google Meet, transcribing the call, talking to your customers about their processes, and then chucking it into an AI and saying, document these processes for me, and then build out a workflow. It's that easy to now do it. You may need, and I would always recommend putting a human in the loop to go over and above that. But it's relatively straightforward to do. The next level to that is building out an agentic army. So being able to build specific niche agents that are tuned to do different things. So the examples here that we've got is a research. Okay, so I'm meeting with a law customer tomorrow. Research the customer, research the industry, research solutions that may be appropriate. An analysis agent, so going through their board papers, their whatever it may be, and coming out with an output. A writing agent, one that will build out a proposal, and then a review agent to go through and give feedback on what the other agents have done. So it's amazing when you're looking at customer proposals to be able to jump in and build out these different agents and get them talking to each other and challenging each other. You can do that yourself within tools like Crew.AI or N8N. You can come to AI agencies like us and we can build them for you. But don't feel like it's bigger than what it is. Give it a go. They're really amazing to actually jump in and try. So where do you start and what do you invest in building versus buying off the shelf? So what I've got here is a prompt, and I'm hoping some of you have already had a play at doing something like this, but this is a really cool place to start. So I run an AI consulting firm in New Zealand with business customers. We specialize in AI engineering services. Our typical client is either a startup trying to build new IP or an enterprise customer trying to use AI. Our biggest time waster is proposal building and probably accounts receivable, whose isn't. And then you can effectively put in the processes and the tasks, what deliverables, and the one tip I'll give to you here is, particularly where it comes to AI and AI ROI, is analyze the opportunity using RICE. It was really great. I was over in Las Vegas for the world's biggest AI event, and OpenAI presented to us, and they use this technique, pretty much this identical prompt within their own business and automation. And unfortunately, AI startups tend to be the most messy in terms of actually automating and, well, the builder's house. Everyone knows that analogy, right? So going through and using the RICE technique is quite a good place to start. And where you'll see there is build of proprietary and buy of generic or adapt existing tools. Putting in your own tech capabilities, really important. So we use Microsoft Copilot, and what it will do is allow you to effectively say, okay, you've actually got this capability within your existing tool sets to be able to leverage. It may be a Copilot Studio 15-minute job to build something that is going to create a lot of value within your business. And effectively, it will come out with a prioritization framework. So what are your quick wins? I'm sure I'm speaking to consultants here. You guys know all about this sort of stuff, right? The quick wins, the strategic builds, and what's transformational. Now, again, you guys all, I'm just watching the time flick by. You guys will get these slides to be able to play with it yourself, but effectively this is what it will look like. 20 claims a month is your reach. It saves 4 hours a claim. The proven method, okay, it's 90%. It's 2 people are doing this, and that's how it builds out the RICE score, okay? But use the prompt. Who wants to do that math yourself? I definitely don't. So I thought we could jump in and do this together. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this in a prompt. Hold on a second. I did copy it somewhere in my notes. Give me a second. So you guys can jump in. Now, I'm assuming everyone's got some form of an AI tool they're using on the daily. Would that be right in saying? So what I'd like you guys to do, this is going to take 2 minutes max, right? Jump in to your AI tool, get rid of my face. You don't need to see that. Well, actually copy this, this prompt that I've just put in the messages. This is way more fun doing in person because I can see if you're doing it or not. You might just be watching some YouTube on the slide. It might not be very exciting, I'm not sure. Especially when the cameras are off. Jeez.
Oh, I've now had to switch off YouTube. Thanks a lot for that.
Love it. It is a really interesting one doing these webinars on Google Meet. And I'm sure a bunch of you have already done them, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to assume each of you have probably had a chance to chuck this in, and now you're probably editing the description and tools.
Yeah.
I usually would also put in my website, depending on how AI ready your website is. If it's got too many graphics, it can be a bit of a pain in the butt. If you haven't heard of a tool called Manus, Manus is God to me, does God's work. Claude is probably second best. So MANUS. If you have not heard of Manus, the one thing after this call, jump in and try that one out.
So we're trying these out, Nyssa, what is Manus? I have heard about it, but don't know the details.
Yeah, there's another one called GenSpark, and ChatGPT and Claude are catching up to them. They're effectively super agent tools. They use a number of different LLMs in the background. Everyone thought ChatGPT 5 was innovative in the way that it was, you don't have to choose models anymore. But Manus had been doing that for a couple of months, and really the intention of ChatGPT when they launched 5 was reducing the cost of prompt serving or tokens, because simple prompts were using high token or high effort models. Manus does a lot of that for you, but it will actually build out full slide decks for you. It will build Excel spreadsheets for you. It really does do God's work. ChatGPT and Claude are way behind Manus and GenSpark, actually.
So really good at. Sorry, Rob, please go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. Is this kind of better geared towards creating branded material? Is that the advantage, or?
Through Manus. So I built an entire VC deck on Manus by prompting it in the right way. So yes, I gave it all of my logos. I gave it how I wanted it to look, for example. I don't use it all the time. Sometimes it doesn't turn out perfect. I would say within the next 6 months, we're going to see incredible branded materials be able to be replicated. I know Ether have done their raise in New Zealand, and they are saying they will be able to do this. Honestly, I think the bigger companies will come out with it first. I think Manus will come out with it first, to be honest. But yeah, it does, but it actually does incredible deep thinking and uses multiple models and different API calling as well, tool calling. Okay, cool. So what I'd actually, sorry, give me 2 seconds. I'll just jump back to my notes. Great. Oh God, Otter's already trying to kick me out, guys. It's already saying, hey, wrap up. So each of you likely have your results now. And then, why is it not letting me change slides? And then who's seen one of these before? Some lovely consulting quadrant. We all love a little bit of a quadrant. Putting the RICE scores within these effective quadrants. So your build, your top, build custom, build with a partner, buy and configure for generic, and ignore if low value. So similar to almost any other investment. But if we go back a few steps and we have a look at this, if your RICE score is above 15, it's a quick win. If it's above 25, it's likely to be a strategic build. And if it's above 40, it's likely to be transformative. Okay. Now, vibe coding. Hands up if you've vibe coded. A couple of you. Come off mute and tell me what you've vibe coded with.
Replit.
Replit. Cool. Replit agents are on fire right now. Has anyone used Lovable? So there's a whole lot of these out there at the moment. I am obsessed with how this can take a business user and build a tool with next to minimal effort. So what vibe coding is, if you don't know about it, and I'm guessing some of you possibly don't, it allows a business user to become, I guess, an engineer. It allows you to build your own application. Now, I'm not going to have enough time to jump in and show you a demo like I thought I would. But if you go onto any of these tools, and I'll reel off a couple of them right now. Actually, I might just put them into the chat. So we've got Bubble.IO, we've got Base 44, we've got Lovable. If anyone else has some, chuck them in as well. You can even use Claude. ChatGPT, I wouldn't even put ChatGPT in there, it's terrible. So these are all some of the really great ones. Actually, one that you may want to play with is Rourke. Rourke's a mobile one, and it can actually allow you to launch a mobile tool straight from the vibe coding tool. So if you're wanting to actually build a mobile application for your consulting business to do something, it may just be, and I'm guessing you're all from different areas, but for me, I might want to build a mobile app that you can go on and talk to, and it will give you advice on the right score for whatever it might be. Okay. So jump into one of those tools. Lovable's still my favorite, but Base 44 and Bubble are starting to become close followers. But instead of that, I'm actually building my own because I'm greedy and I don't like what some of these do. And I believe that there's a massive missing opportunity here, and we're actually presenting it to Icehouse tomorrow, which is really exciting. So I'm going to show you what that looks like now. And no, actually, I am going to show you an action plan, but I think all of you guys kind of already have this under control. List 3 tasks that take too long in your practice, try an AI tool, time how long it takes, and scale it, right? We kind of talked about that with the RICE scores before. So just to talk about myself for a second, I'm trying to save the planet, and I'm trying to save time, and I'm trying to stop all the integration dramas and trying to make things easier for you as business owners. Basically, I'm not quite cutting into world peace yet, but I'll let Osako do that. So we're building out this, which is a platform that is enterprise vibe coding. There isn't actually a proper enterprise vibe coding tool on the market yet. And it is a shameless plug, but also one that follows the conversation that we're having here today. But effectively combining everything we've spoken about: workflow automation, integration challenges, context, so where all of your documents are and how you get them into something, worrying what tool to use for what, and vibe coding, combining that all into an enterprise safe and secure one-stop shop where a business administrator can control the rules and governance, i.e. what LLM to use, or don't give legal advice, or API secret keys, or data sources like Salesforce or Google Analytics. So they can set those parameters. A context user, so a business user, i.e. a junior consultant, can say, build me an application that does this. The AI vibe coding tool asks you a few questions about what you're hoping to build. And then, which we won't be showing in this demo, it spits out either the application or an engineering brief for the larger organizations to integrate into their business. So we believe it'll cut engineering time down in large enterprises by 90%, based on our pilots we've been doing. So we're really excited about this, but it puts a different wrapper around some of the vibe coding tools that you'll be seeing out in the market at the moment. And, oh gosh, why can't I go back to my deck?
So, Nyssa, did you say this is your tool that you're developing?
Yep, so we're building this. We have the back end sorted. You'll see that the UI is a little bit clunky at the moment. So we are working on getting investment to take this to market and clean up the UI. But we will have this ready in the next 6 weeks for the market to start using. So we've been working on it for a good year. So it's pretty exciting. It's New Zealand born. We're working with Rod Drury. He's probably going to be from zero. He's going to be our first back-end user in the New Zealand government travel environment. So I will keep it. Is it still playing? No, it's not playing.
It's called Harper Studio, is it?
Yeah, with the Harper Studio is the user interface. Harper's my daughter's name. So, but what you'll see here is exactly what it will spit out, which is very similar to a vibe coded application, but it's automated, connected to the different backends, and also has context from a business perspective. So it's more designed for an enterprise enabled use case. So why can't, oh, here we go. So if you want to potentially use Harper or be one first on, thanks, Doug. Be proud of me. I used to be one of your babies back in Gen I days. If you want to be one of the first to use it, sign up for early access. As I say, we're hoping to have this live in the next 6 weeks. So I thought I'd jump into Q&A. We've only got a few minutes left, but does anyone have any questions about the world of AI? Because it's all I do. I live and breathe it and am obsessed with it.
We'll see if the questions come up, Nyssa, but firstly, thank you very much for that. Now, Nyssa, we met about 6 months ago, and I was a changed man after that meeting, and I think I am again after this meeting again. So much stuff that's going on, and kind of the big vision you've got. I think it's fantastic. So look, don't forget us when you're big and rich and famous. That's all I can say.
I won't forget you, and I hope that all of these tools will make you guys big and rich and famous, right? You all have your own IP, and don't forget that in amongst the chaos of, people starting up businesses left, right, and center. You've got years and years of knowledge. Scale it, leverage it, build some of this stuff, get it in the market, get your customers using it. Now's the time that you can actually monetize it really easily. If you need any help with it, we're here, even just for free, quick, sort of questions, just ping me. Always happy to help, or guide you towards tools that you can use. We do throw ourselves into everything, so we generally know what's good, what's bad. Don't get sucked in by some of the AI agencies and consulting companies out there. They're everywhere now, and usually they come from marketing backgrounds. It's pretty easy to build things yourselves. We have a marketplace on our Possibl.AI website, which has a whole lot of AI tools that we enjoy and we vet. And soon we'll be launching a AI consultant on our website. So effectively a voice or chat bot that you can say, hey, these are my business challenges. What tool could I buy off the shelf, and or what use case can I or should I be using AI for? So I've got the team working on that to have live in the next sort of 4 weeks. So jump on board and have a look at the marketplace if you want to find tools that do certain things. Apollo's a really good one as well. Cool. Any questions, guys? Otherwise, I will. There we go. QR codes everywhere, just in case you want to get your phone out. No, you guys will have this deck, so welcome to sort of play around with it. But that's it from me, guys. Happy for you to reach out, add me to LinkedIn. Let's connect. Let's sell each other's stuff. Let's make it magic.